Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, October 14, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let's just take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. We can see that across the main development region, we have tropical depression Sean, and we have that area of possible tropical cyclone development over the next 7 days. Taking a look at tropical depression Sean, we can see that it's still located to the east of the Leeward Islands and is expected to move towards the west-northwest and maintain tropical depression status up until Monday afternoon, when it's expected to die down. It's packing maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour right now, and it's moving towards the northwest right now at 9 miles per hour. And we can see that the spaghetti model tracks have this system moving towards the northwest, then towards the west, maybe making its way close enough to the Leeward Islands. It's just a waiting game at this point. Maybe they could be affected. Maybe Sean might remain a tropical depression, or it could re-strengthen. Who knows? It's just a waiting game at this point. We have to stay updated to see exactly what happens. Either way, the intensity models show that it's supposed to remain outside for the most part of tropical storm intensity and maintain maybe tropical depression, or maybe degenerate back to a tropical wave. As it relates to the area of possible development across the main development region, the Hurricane Center now gives it a 90% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. According to the U.S. National Hurricane Center, it says showers and thunderstorms associated with an area of low pressure located several hundred miles southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands have become less organized since this morning. However, environmental conditions are forecast to become more conducive for development, and a tropical depression or tropical storm is likely to form within the next couple of days, while the system moves westward or west-northwestward across the central and the western tropical Atlantic. Additional information on the system, including gale warnings, can be found in high seas forecasts issued by the National Weather Service. So we see that it now has a 90% chance within the next 7 days and a 70% chance within the next 2 days as it moves towards the west or to the west-northwest. We just have to stay updated to see exactly what happens. Either way, the GFS, that's the GFS ensemble models, has the system moving towards the west, then towards the west-northwest. Who knows, maybe making it more to the north of the Eastern Caribbean, and we can see those colors that represent hurricane status as well. You know, the blues represent depression status, the greens represent tropical storm status, the yellows represent hurricane status, and the oranges, reds, we're going up in intensity, so category 2 or higher. And that's what the GFS model is showing. The EPS model from the Euro, it's showing something similar, but most of these are starting to clip the northeastern Caribbean, so definitely a section of the Leeward Islands. So we see that there are some differences in terms of where it's projected to go, and we know this far out in time the certainty is not quite there. However, what is certain is the fact that it's definitely going to be making it up to tropical storm status, and then maybe even hurricane status later on, as most of these computer models show something very similar. Let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can see that we still have that area of low pressure associated with tropical depression Sean, and we have that area to the southeast of it, that tropical wave that's expected to develop. We still have that high pressure ridge across the Caribbean basin dominating the region, and if we take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can definitely see where we have those lines of clouds associated with those troughs and cold fronts. We also have tropical depression Sean, as well as that area of possible development right there across the main development region. We don't have much taking place across majority of the Caribbean at all. So let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in this morning's video about the weather across Jamaica for today. It was stated that we would have received some amount of isolated afternoon showers across sections of some central and western parishes. And we know central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex. Western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall. And even before this update was made, there was some rainfall taking place across sections of some eastern parishes, sections of northeastern St. Thomas, and sections of Portland definitely gotten some amount of rainfall, as we can see on the cube and Doppler radar images. The greens represent light to moderate rainfall, the yellows represent strong rainfall, and we definitely had confirmation that it rained across that parish this morning. However, as relates to what was forecasted, we see that actually coming true in the post that was made during the afternoon, 2:46 p.m., highlighting the visible satellite images showing clouds bringing overcast skies and thunderstorms to sections of some central and western parishes in Jamaica. Definite sections of northern St. Catherine, southern St. Mary, southern St. Anne definitely gotten some amount of rainfall, some isolated rainfall across sections of southern Trelawney, southern St. James, northern St. Elizabeth definitely gotten some amount of rainfall. And another post was made on our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok pages highlighting the eclipse that was forecast to take place today across the Western Hemisphere. Eclipse, we know when the moon comes into the pathway of the sun's rays, bringing about a shadow on the earth, and that's definitely what took place across the area today. And we can even see it on the visible satellite images. A post is made showing the shadow coming in from the northwest across sections of the western United States and coming down into portions of the western Caribbean, Central America, and then all the way down into South America. And we can even see it better on this visible satellite image that we showed earlier. We see the shadow coming in from the northwest, definitely darkening the skies, and we even saw it dimming the sunlight across Jamaica as well. Alright, so let us take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica today. We can confirm that we indeed had that thunderstorm activity, especially across inland areas of some northern parishes, so sections of southern Trelawney, southern St. James, sections of Hanover, northern St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland gotten some amount of rainfall. And we can even see it even better on the infrared satellite images that show the high cold cloud tops. We know the thunderstorms, the cumulonimbus clouds are represented by the blues, greens, yellows, oranges, and reds. Not to mention the sparkling white dust that represents one amount of lightning flashes, if not lightning strikes. And we do see that if we reload these images right now, we still have some amount of thunderstorm activity still taking place across sections of St. Elizabeth as we speak. And if we take a look at the cube and Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall that we just saw in the satellite images across sections of St. Elizabeth as represented by that yellow right there. You can also see some rainfall to the east of the island across the sea as indicated by those greens. And if we take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, we can see where we definitely had that rainfall across the island for today, inland areas of some central and eastern parishes, and sections of some western parishes. That's where we indeed had that rainfall. As relates to the temperatures right now, we can say we have 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by 3 a.m. on Sunday, the temperature should get down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay and 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston. As it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS are showing 18Z on Sunday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Sunday, and we can see those orange colors that represent up to 3 degrees Celsius, maybe even 4 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the average temperatures, or the normal temperatures, for the month of October across Jamaica is about 89 degrees Fahrenheit. And when we take a look at the thermometer, 89 degrees Fahrenheit is about the equivalent or the same as 31 degrees Celsius. So if we should be receiving up to 4 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures, it should be anywhere from 31 to 35 degrees Celsius at most. So ensure that you try your very best to stay hydrated, stay out of the sun during peak hours so that you're not that drastically affected. As relates to the dry air map, we can see that we don't have much in the way of dry air across portions of Jamaica at all. Lots of blue surrounding the island. We know the dry air is represented by the yellows, oranges, reds, and whites within those reds, as we can see by the key at the bottom. A majority of the dry air is right there across sections of the coastal areas of the United States, the northern portions of the North Atlantic, and even sections of the eastern Caribbean getting in on some amount of dry air. And it's the moist air that's responsible for bringing, that afternoon convection that we're used to. And if we take a look at the SAR, dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Sunday, we don't see much happening across the entire Caribbean at all, including Jamaica. Majority of the dust is represented by the browns, and we see that across the main development region and Africa. As relates to the wave forecast, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS malls are showing wave heights getting up to 0.5 of a meter wave height, and that's due to the fact that the winds are not going to be that strong at all, coming in from the southeast or the south on the south coast, according to both the Euro and the GFS malls. The north coast coming in from the north. Either way, we can see that air starting to pile up across inland areas of some central and western parishes during the afternoon hours. And we know what usually takes place. We have those cumulus clouds becoming cumulonimbus clouds when we have that diurnal convection, we have that daytime heating, thunderstorm activity. And that's definitely what's going to be taking place tomorrow, especially with that upper level wind shear coming in from the east southeast. That's definitely going to be favoring more of that overcast skies and thunderstorm activity across sections of some northern parishes in Jamaica. And if we take a look at the rainfall forecast, we can see that this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are showing 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. And we do see the blues across sections of Jamaica, eastern, central, and western parishes in Jamaica, especially inland areas of St. Thomas, inland areas of Portland, inland areas of St. James, Trelawney, western St. Anne, northern St. Elizabeth, northern Manchester. That's where we see the blues that represent rainfall and GFS. Euro is a bit more robust, showing the blues across majority of the island, but we know it makes more sense considering we just saw the low level winds. So we'll be more to believe what the GFS is showing. Either way, we can skip ahead to about a couple of hours later. This is 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 4 p.m. Jamaica time, and we start to see more of that blue that represent rainfall across sections of some northern parishes, especially on the GFS mall, St. Anne, Trelawney, sections of St. Mary, Portland, St. Elizabeth, northwestern Manchester on the GFS. Euro showing more blues that represent rainfall across majority of western Jamaica, but we do see the consensus with northern Jamaica as well. And as it relates to the accumulated precipitation forecast, both of these maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Sunday. And we have the consensus, definitely eastern, central, and western Jamaica, more in the way of northern Jamaica on the GFS, making more sense than what we just saw on the 1 hour rainfall totals. But that's relates to the amount of rainfall, only up to 0.34 of an inch of rainfall, and that's being shown across sections of northern Jamaica on the GFS. Euro a bit more robust, showing up to 0.37 of an inch of rainfall across the southeastern portions of the island. Either way, we have the consensus that yes, we're going to be getting in on some amount of rainfall, even although the rainfall totals are not that drastic. But that's what we want to see. We want to see certainty, and we're indeed happy that we're going to be receiving rainfall tomorrow. We're in the month of October. We usually receive an increase in the amount of rainfall across the island, so we'll take all the rainfall that we can get before we step into our dry season. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see that we don't have much taking place across majority of the Caribbean, but we do see where we indeed had that afternoon convection across sections of Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, sections of Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala for today. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean for today, we can see here we didn't have much in the way of rainfall at all. Just some hit or miss showers here and there. Definitely got in on some amount of afternoon rainfall across sections of inland areas of Puerto Rico. And we can also see that if we check out the Barbados radar, we see some hit or miss showers passing to the south of Barbados, going into sections of maybe eastern Tobago for tonight. Some of this rainfall could make it into the Grenadine Islands and Grenada. And if you take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall that we just confirmed across sections of Guatemala, southern Florida, the Bahamas, and sections of northern Venezuela. As it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, keep in mind that both of these maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing 18Z, which is actually 1 p.m. on Sunday. And we do see the above normal temperatures represented by the yellows, oranges, and reds, reaching all the way from South America into the Caribbean as well as into the Gulf of Mexico. And we see the consensus that that's definitely where the temperatures are going to be above average. As relates to the siren dust forecast, majority of the Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere in general, the Gulf of Mexico, definitely in the clear for 2 p.m. on Sunday. Majority of the dust associated with the Sahara Desert is right there as represented by the browns across the northern main development region, and closer to Africa where we have that darker shades of brown that represent that vigorous plume, and we won't be expecting that to be making its way into the Caribbean at all, considering that we don't have that significant high pressure to be blowing all of that wind across the main development region into the Caribbean. This relates to the wave forecast for tomorrow. We can see that both the Euro and the GFS are showing majority of the Caribbean should be getting in on some 0.5 meter wave heights as indicated by those light blue colors. And that's due to the fact that the winds are not going to be that strong at all, especially considering that we have that ridge of high pressure still across the Caribbean. The winds are going to be coming in from the southeast for the most part, averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 knots. As relates to the rainfall forecast, we do see some isolated rainfall expected for sections of the Greater Antilles, Jamaica, Eastern Cuba, sections of Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, anywhere from Guadeloupe southward to maybe St. Vincent, Barbados, but we do see an increase in rainfall the more south we get. So definitely not much rainfall for sections of French Guiana or Suriname, but sections of Guyana, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, sections of Belize, Mexico. Not much in the way of rainfall for the Cayman Islands, but we do see some consensus in the fact that we're going to be getting in on some more rainfall across sections of southern Florida and the Bahamas. And you know that when the Euro and the GFS models are showing something similar like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.